Ooh la la. This is where I get the vibe and the dance. And of course, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this special edition of the Paule-Cast. It is dedicated to the Association of Water Technologies, Women of Water, better known as AWT. Wow. My name is Paule-Genest, and I am your very, very happy host. And this chat is all about highlighting the variety of backgrounds and personalities of AWT Women of Water members, empowering women to be more active and take leadership roles within their companies, and why not within the AWT. And I do not want to forget about empowering women to be more active and take on different roles in their companies, and also serve as an incentive to grow the membership of the WOW AWT thriving community. Food for thoughts, of course, in today's world, belonging to communities such as AWT or the Association of Water Technologies, it is a privilege and I should say a gift, as we are finding the connection in an age of individuality. Today, and I am a huge, did I say huge? Big, big fan of this woman of water. Her name is Tammy Faber. She is the sales manager at 808. I will say this again, HOH Technology. She will share with us what being a woman of water has brought into her life, but also she has found this very interesting acronym for WOW, Wise, Overcoming, and Women. Of course, WOW stands for Women of Water. So please welcome to this podcast the very inspiring Tammy Faber, sales manager at HOH Technology. Hi, Tammy.
Hi, good morning, my friend. How are you?
How am I? I'm so happy that you are joining us today. I've been looking forward to having this chat with you ever since I sat down with you at the last convention, and you were so generously giving me some of your advice and wisdom, but mostly listening to my different crazy ambitions. And here we are today.
Yeah, we've come a long way, almost a year, and we were in Canada and enjoying your beautiful country. And I can't say how much I love your enthusiasm, your energy, and how you want to empower people, no matter who they are. And I love that about you.
Thank you so very much. It is so mutual. And Tammy, this is the day we are going to be talking about you. We only have, and I do stress, only have 30 minutes. So I do wish to maybe have a second episode already if we've not even started chatting. Anyway, so I want to know about your professional background. I want to know also how you became involved with the water treatment industry, and also how did you get involved with the AWT? So of course, if we do have the time, I would love for you to talk about your recent transformation, because you're a woman of one word. You're always so very involved in everything that you do. You're a dynamo. So I'll want to see and hear, if you don't mind, about this transformation of yours, which is so empowering. And also, you belong to a group of women that make things happen. So this is my introduction to our chat today. So you are a dedicated woman. You always follow through with all your projects that you undertake, and you chose Wise Overcoming Women. So why those three words?
I think the first thing is that the women that I surround myself with at AWT and, personally, they are my source when I need wise words.
Mm.
Um, my faith is foremost in a part of who I am, and it talks about how iron sharpens iron, and I think that's important. So the wise part comes from the wise women that I surround myself with,
Mm.
and men too, that really
Mhm.
help me up my game. And I don't always have the answers, and I'm not always the smartest on every subject, so I need that wise tribe to pour into. And then the overcoming part, I've been around a while. I'm not, 20. When I started in this industry, but in the very first industry I was in, which was the paper industry,
Oh.
um, there was a lot of firsts. I was in
Mhm.
a room where most of the time I was the only woman. I was usually the youngest. And I was in a room once when I was filling in for my manager that my father was in the room with me, and he was considered a peer when I was 26.
Oh la la.
Overcoming seems to be just something that I think we all do together. But there's also personal challenges. You talked about my transformation. Part of that is overcoming some challenges, and then women, because that's the essence of who we are. That just makes us strong. We're moms. Some of us are moms, and some of us are, you know, now empty nesters. But at the core of our being, we're still females and love each other and support each other.
Well, most definitely. And then of course when you also added women in general, as in, part of being the same. It's not about gender, but really women recognizing another woman going through and embracing those challenges and overcoming them, and also having the courage to be authentic, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And I also think that sometimes in our society today, people want to portray women as putting one another down to get ahead. And
Hmm.
that is not what we should do. We should build each other up, celebrate our successes, and celebrate each other, not belittle each other or just do things that degrade relationships. It's just so important to be supportive of one another.
Yeah, most definitely. So you mentioned you're being so young in the business, right? So I wanted you to brush up a bit on your path to the water industry, coming from maybe this paper industry into the water technologies industry.
Yeah, it's a winding path like most people. I decided when I was college age that at first college wasn't for me. And so I started working at a
Oh,
paper mill where my dad worked, and became a buyer and a senior buyer and then a purchasing agent. And I did that for a while, stepped out of paper mill. And interestingly enough, I didn't think about it until recently. I was buying water treatment chemicals and had no idea what I was buying. Somebody else told me what to buy. Okay, I'll buy this biocide,
mm,
whatever it does. And then took a step back in my career and I spent 10 years being a mom and worked at my daughter's school, and then went back into the materials management field. And um, this will tell my age, but I decided I went back to college, got my degree when she went to college, got my master's degree, and it was time to do something
wow,
with this degree. And
wow.
so I responded to an advertisement I found in a paper at the grocery store, and I went to this company, and it was a water treatment company, and I was like, okay, I can do this. It's purchasing, it's operations, it's being a controller, it's putting my degree to work. So I jumped in, and 16, 17 years later, I wouldn't look back. It was the best decision I ever made to join this industry.
What makes this industry so intriguing and interesting for you?
I think the biggest thing is it's never the same. Um,
You're right.
you
Oh.
know,
Hmm.
running a sales team is something I didn't imagine 2 years ago. I was in operations, I did marketing, and I did inventory management, customer service, but it's never quite the same from customer to customer. The problems they have,
Hmm.
the way that we can help them improve and save water and use less energy and really make what we like to call a lasting impact at HOH. Um, we make impacts on our people that work on our team, but we also make impacts on our customers by making them better and making, maybe reduce their carbon footprint, reduce their water usage, and make the planet a better place
Yes.
by what we do.
You had mentioned about also the connection, like you never you have had or experienced in any other workplace. Although you are so involved in your community, and I find that being a mom is also developing this sense of entrepreneurship as well. It's like a family is a business. Let's put it that way. But that connection that you want to nurture, and you have your own way of doing so. Like I I am a living testimony of how you do it. You always have the word, the tempo, when to reach out, and as a sales manager, as a woman sales manager in the industry, do you find that you have to behave or be different in the industry?
I don't think so. We our skills and our power, you step into whatever your superpower is.
Oh,
Um
yes.
and stepping into your superpower, like, I may not be the most technically um water treater that we have, but I understand relationships, I understand people, I understand value. And so using and putting together a team that uses the best of our skills.
True.
So if we're going on a sales call, we're going to take the team that we need, if it's me for relationship or someone else definitely for technical expertise.
Mhm.
That's what we do. And so everyone has a unique gift and talent that we want to pull together on our team.
I think that, would you say that our mission is also to unleash this superpower? Because sometimes some of our colleagues don't even know they have those superpowers, and to name them and to exercise them. Would that be something that is not challenging, but that is living within how you do things?
It is. Have done a lot of training with Novus Global, and they talk about high performing performers becoming meta performers. And
Oh.
so I try to be curious with my team and talk to them about how they're feeling. But
Mhm.
also we discuss, well, you're really good at that, because some people innately um, go to the story in their head and they think that they can't do something when the reality is they had the power all along. They just didn't see it.
Ah,
And
you're
so
so right.
speaking life and joy and building people up is so important.
Yeah, and maintaining that strong bond with the people that we care for. And this is something we've been talking about a lot lately. How do we
Mhm.
take care of our clients, and taking care of your number one client? I'd like to go back
Yes.
to that transformation of yours because it's absolutely stunning. But I like to say that in sales, most specifically, if you don't take care of your number one client, which is yourself,
Mhm.
then nothing's gonna happen. And tell us a bit more about this transformation of yours.
Yeah, it started last year. HOH has a summit every year in December, and Reed Hutchison, who is my boss, our COO,
Mhm.
gave kind of like I would equate it to a football speech. You wanted to run through the wall when he was done. He's been on a journey himself and has gotten healthier. And I was just like sitting there in this space that, I'm leading my team good, but I'm
Mm.
not leading myself well. And I felt stuck. Full transparency, I was overweight. I couldn't do the things I wanted to do. And January 3rd, I started on a health journey with a health coach named Angel, and he through a program called Optavia. And as of yesterday, I've lost 71 pounds since
Oh,
January.
wow. This is a wow
And
factor. Wow.
yeah, it's definitely a wow factor. And
Oh.
through that, I was reading Atomic Habits by James Cleary, and talks about getting 1% better each day and building good habits. And you have to build good habits first. But, I get up and I walk, and my husband and I walk, to coffee every Sunday morning, 3 miles, there and back. I wouldn't have even thought about that. And so, building habits that matter. And now I have more energy for my team. I Others have joined me on the journey, and my husband's also, he told me this morning he's lost 72 pounds. So between us, we've lost a whole person this year.
Ay, 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 can you imagine?
No, we've also blown our budget because we have to buy new clothes.
Well, that's style for you. Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, you are such a fashionista.
some days.
Some days, but I mean, building habits that matter, that is
Mhm.
key. Also, being able to stick to the plan, because it's always so, we get so hyped when we embrace a new venture and the results are there, but then you hit a plateau. And then how
Yes.
do you, because in sales, as in life, as in, us being part of this thriving community of women of water, we start projects and then we hit the plateau. How do you elevate yourself again from that
I think
plateau?
I think it's 2 things. One is I tap into my community. If I'm stuck, I have, especially like when we talk about my transformation and my health journey, I have my coach to tap into, I have Reed to tap into, and then I have others on my team that are on a similar journey that I tap into. And that's number one. Number two, I guess number one is actually, and I would lean in my faith a lot when on those moments
Mm-hmm.
I'm stuck. And then the third thing I think is finding resources that help me. And I consider myself a lifelong learner. So I'm constantly growing and learning. So, one of the new books I'm reading is Changes, Healthy Changes. And I think I got the title wrong. I just started reading it, but it's by Craig Rochelle. And so it's a deep dive with a workbook on building on the healthier habits. And the story in my head sometimes can get me, and changing that visual from I am not an unhealthy, heavy person. I am now on a health journey. I exercise, and who I am has evolved, instead of me listening to the story in my head of other people saying, "Oh, you're heavy, you're fat, you can't do that, you're not smart." I changed the story in my head, and I know who I am.
This is very interesting because sometimes we're stuck into a scenario because we think that this is who we are, because people has
Mm.
said things about us, or believe that these were the words to describe. But then when we go inside and we redirect or rewrite those scenarios, I call this working for Hollywood, having our own personal scripture. But I mean, it does make a difference. And I find that what you are sharing with us, it's all about with your inner wellness as well. So not only are
Yes.
you getting well outside, but inside. And that brings me the big question about purpose, because as a woman of water and being part of the Association of Water Technologies, there is this wellness really comes handy, because then you are mentoring so many of us members, men and women alike. So I'd like for you to talk to us about what it is, in your own words, to be a woman of water at the AWT.
I think the biggest thing is to know that in the water industry, a lot of times and a lot of days you're alone. You're out there and you're in this
Mm,
customer site, you're interacting with customers, but it feels like your team is a million miles away.
true.
And so, as women of water, whether it's here at HOH Water Technology or if it's with my friends, male, female, young, old at AWT, to know they're not alone and
Mm.
making that connection that I'm here for you. And if you need somebody to talk to because you're having a bad day, um, there's a phone, there's an email there, I'm a text, I'm a minute away. Um, to that end, like we do a Women of Water or Women in the Field call rather here once a
Oh,
quarter with our ladies in the
wow.
field. So, and it's not like we're not talking about water treatment. We're talking about challenges and frustrations as moms, women. I sent them something yesterday about embracing the suck. It was a little YouTube video, and like on a bad day, don't forget to take care of yourself. Mental health is important. And if you need to take a mental health day, do it. And we're here to talk to you and support one another. And I think that's important to know because we've all been the only something in a room, the youngest, the only, you know, the oldest, the newest, the only woman, sometimes the only man.
The only yes,
And,
we forget
to that
this.
end, actually one of our young professionals and I are giving a paper at AWT about embracing your professional confidence and knowing that just because you're the youngest or the only, that you can make a difference.
This is very compelling a subject, and I'd love to broach on this later on. Maybe when we do our March 8th special edition with Trace Blackmore on scaling up. This is quite interesting, and the only something, and to be able to name this,
Yeah.
and I think it's key. Yes, most definitely. And so you talked about networking, being able to voice some of your concerns or some of, and that I think asking for help as well. I think
Mhm.
that in itself, would you say that women sometimes we don't ask for help enough?
Oh, absolutely. I think sometimes, and I think this is going away more, but
Mhm.
we are sometimes afraid to show our weakness because we're afraid that people will see us as weak because we don't know something. And that's not true at all.
Mm.
Everybody doesn't know something, and we need to realize that.
See, this is why I was telling everyone today that it was going to be very compelling a chat because being the only something we have all been the only something. Thank you for this thought that you have. Now it's like a seed in my garden of thoughts.
I know.
This
Now
will be the, yes,
you're
exactly.
you're gonna make it flourish and grow now.
Yeah, exactly. So I know that time is running right now, and but I'd like for you to share with us maybe some a key experience within the AWT because you're a board member as well. I mean, there's so
Mhm.
many things, so many sides of you, but again, at the AWT, you're a board member, so maybe you'd like to share something about this or any other experience within the AWT as a wow.
I think the most important thing is is that you should get involved. I
Mm,
think back to way before I was a board member, my very first conference, and I met Tom Branville, Trace Blackmore, and Heidi Zimmerman.
yes.
And I was like a deer in headlights. There's so much at convention to look at. And I was like, where do I go? Who do I talk to?
True.
And those three people were like, well, this is what AWT is. These are the ways you can get involved. And I left there going, wow, there's this whole team I didn't know to tap into. And immediately after convention, I'm pretty sure it was Tom. He was like, Tammy, you said you wanted to get in a committee, and like that, I was on the business resources committee.
Wow.
Um, and then I got nominated for the board a couple years, and then the second time ended up on the board. But it started with that small seed that both Trace, Heidi, and Tom Branville planted of, well, just try it. And they asked me, and now I want to make sure as I meet people at convention, well, have you thought about a committee? Have you thought about getting involved with Women of Water or boilers, or it doesn't matter what you love, there's a committee that you
Just
can help.
get involved. Yes.
Yeah.
And that is your motto as well. You always say, and you did say to me, women can do anything.
Mhm. And so can anybody really.
Really. And then you also mentioned that you have had in your life some women that have been pillars or that have given, how do you say this, wind under your wing because they
Yeah,
did
wind under my
support you.
wings, lifting
Yes.
my sails.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is such a nice image. Any women you're thinking about? Like you named Heidi, for instance, and any
Yes.
other women that played that role in your life?
I think a lot of us have a shared woman who stands out, and that's Pam Simmons. Um,
Yes.
I serve on the board with Pam, and I told you this earlier when we were prepping for this. There's an old commercial about E.F. Hutton, and the
Yes.
commercial said, if E.F. Hutton talks, people need to listen, and people would like stop in this commercial. And
Yes.
I always think of Pam because she has such wisdom, and it doesn't matter if it's about pumps or people or being a mom or a grandma. When Pam talks, I listen because her advice is gold,
True.
and she will give her friends and the people that she cares about and her team that she leads anything. And I admire her so much because she broke a lot of barriers way
True.
before, a lot of people thought about it. I first knew Pam when she was prominent Pam in Texas, and she's a Texas girl, which is where I moved here from. So I have a lot of respect and love for Pam.
Thank you for sharing this. Yes, and she makes us feel that we belong, and she's very like she has empowered so many of us to come
Mhm.
forward and be ourselves. So that is absolutely outstanding. So one of the things I'd like to ask before we only have 5 minutes left together. Can you imagine?
Oh
If you
my.
were if you were standing and the challenge is not to name how many times we say wow in one day. I counted 100 times yesterday. That's how many times I say wow. And then I always say, and this means wow, women of water at AWT. Anyway, that's another subject. But if you were to be in front of a group of students and you are giving a speech, what would you say to promote this enthusiasm of yours as, because you're such a wow inspiration? What would you say for them to join the industry, the water technologies industry?
I think I would start with the fact that everything we do on this planet revolves around water. And
Yes.
then go into, did you know that you, in a lot of places, the reason you're warm or the reason you're cool is because of water? And then talk to them about how water is life, but then how this group of people and how you can make a difference and be in such a place that, here in Chicago, you can go up on top of a beautiful skyscraper and look at Lake Michigan while you do your job. And
Mhm.
then you can go down in to Southern Illinois and work in a hospital that's surrounded by a cornfield. And there's so much diversity in what we do every day. And you don't have to just sit behind a desk and crunch numbers. You can crunch numbers and enjoy science in the field. And I love that about this.
And it is true that we are making a difference, and fighting the climate changes. I think that we as water treaters are really making a big difference. And that expression is shifting the tide and shifting the boat. I guess this is exactly what we are doing, both men and women, us as a community, us as member of the AWT, most definitely. So before I let you go, you did give special thanks to Pam. Anyone else you'd like to give thanks, because you are so positively inspiring anyone, whether it be from the water technologies industry and your personal life, friends, anyone. A big shout out to some of people that you want to say thank you today. It's a good opportunity to do it.
Thanks. I appreciate that. It starts with my parents. I was raised by two people that my dad, Mike, and my mom, Gloria, who absolutely told me from day one, okay, you want to do it? Go try it.
Wow.
And they got me through ups and downs of life, but they constantly, I consider my dad my first business mentor. I watched him reach things that probably this day and age, maybe he couldn't because he didn't have a college degree. Um, and he showed me what it means like to care for your family first
Mm.
and also, you know, grow as a professional. You can do both and you can excel and take care of your family. And then the next one is my husband. This is a crazy life probably that we live. We moved here from Texas. He's never lived anywhere but Texas. I've moved around because my parents moved around through my dad's career. And he left his life as a photographer, sports photographer that he loved to support me and move up here.
Wow.
And he works in our warehouse now. He loves HOH and the water treatment industry, but he was there every step of the way when I got my both degrees. And then my kids who um, are like, okay, mom, okay, mom, whatever. So whatever. And I couldn't be more proud of the three of them. One graduates from college in the fall. The other one is happy in his career. And my daughter is an incredible mom, soon to be of three, who gives of herself in her community and is like a youth director in her church. And I'm super proud of her.
Well, we are super proud of you, Tammy Faber, for having been our guest today. Thank you for chatting with us. I look forward to seeing you at the convention in Grand Rapids in
Yes.
Michigan at beginning of October. You will continue to be an inspiration, and you really, you are a wow factor in yourself. So thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you, my friend.
Oh,
I look forward to seeing you in person.
excellent. So, thank you, everyone. We need to conclude this podcast. What a wonderful conversation we have had with Tammy Faber from HOH. Special thanks to our executive producer, Benoît Gaboriau. This has been brought to you by TGWT. Special wow thanks also to the steering committee at the WOW at the AWT, Stephanie Shuri, Tammy Faber, Michelle Long, Janice Shaw, and Pam Simmons. Until we meet again, you know how I say it, be wow and certainly be happy. Bye.